There is a truth that the longer you live, the more you must accept. Life does not operate on your emotions. You may feel happy or sad, inspired or exhausted, but time keeps moving. Pressure keeps coming, and responsibility never waits until you're ready. Some days, you work with excitement. Everything flows. Ideas come effortlessly. Energy feels endless. These are the days we live for, the moments when our passion and our work become one. You feel a surge of power, a feeling that you can conquer any challenge, that your vision is clear and your path is straight. On busy days, the work doesn't feel like work at all. It's a joy, a creative burst that seems to pour out of you with no resistance. You look at the progress you've made and feel a deep sense of satisfaction, believing that this momentum will carry you all the way to the finish line. It's easy to be productive when you're riding a wave of inspiration, when every action feels meaningful and every step forward feels light. You might even look at others who struggle and wonder why they can just tap into this same source of boundless energy. You feel invincible, as if this state of high performance is your new normal. But emotions are like the weather. They come and go. No one can live an entire life fueled by excitement alone. If you only act when you feel good, you will abandon the most important work of your life. That vibrant energy, that intoxicating feeling of flow-it, is temporary. It is a fleeting visitor, not a permanent resident in your mind. The sun doesn't shine every day, and storms will inevitably roll in. There will be gray, drizzly mornings, where the last thing you want to do is get out of bed, let alone face the monumental task you set for yourself. There will be afternoons where your mind feels like a dense fog, where ideas that once came so easily now feel impossible to grasp. If your commitment to your goals is tied to the unpredictable nature of your feelings, your progress will be just as erratic. You will start projects with a grand flourish of passion, only to leave them half-finished when the initial excitement wears off. The path to any meaningful achievement is paved not with constant inspiration, but with the stones of consistent action, laid one by one, especially on the days you feel nothing at all. To build something that lasts, you must learn to work when the spark is gone, to show up when the motivation has vanished, and to trust in the process, even when you can't feel the progress. True strength begins when you no longer feel like continuing. There are days when you feel tired, not because the work is hard, but because you've been doing it for a long time without seeing results. This is a different kind of exhaustion. A weariness that seeps into your bones and whispers doubts into your ear. It's the fatigue that comes from pouring your heart and soul into something, day after day, only to be met with silence. The numbers aren't moving. The feedback isn't coming. The breakthrough you were hoping for remains just over the horizon, always out of reach. In these moments, it's not your body that's tired, it's your spirit. You start to question everything: your abilities, your decisions, the validity of your goal itself. The initial passion that fueled you has long since faded, replaced by a quiet, gnawing sense of futility. It feels pointless to keep pushing a boulder uphill when it hasn't budged an inch. This is the moment of truth, the crossroads where most people turn back. And in those moments, the fact that you still sit down, still do your part, is what creates a quiet but powerful difference. It's the simple, unglamorous act of showing up. There are no cameras, no applause, no one to pat you on the back and tell you that you're doing a great job. It is just you, the work, and the silence. It's choosing to write another page when the book feels like it's going nowhere. It's making one more sales call after 100 rejections. It's stepping into the gym when every muscle aches and your mind is screaming for rest. This is where character is forged. This is where resilience is built. It's not in the spectacular victories, but in the quiet, mundane, and often painful persistence on the days when it feels like it doesn't matter. This stubborn refusal to quit, this commitment to the process over the immediate outcome, is what separates the amateur from the professional, the dreamer from the achiever. A strong person is not someone who is always powerful, but someone who doesn't quit just because today they feel weaker than yesterday. Strength is not a constant state of being. It is not an unshakable confidence or an endless well of energy. True strength is fluid. It's the ability to bend without breaking, to feel the full weight of exhaustion and discouragement, and yet, to still find a reason to take one more step. It's accepting that some days you will feel fragile, vulnerable, and full of doubt. It's understanding that feeling weak is not the same as being weak. The strongest people you know have faced moments of profound weakness. They have stared into the abyss of failure and felt the paralyzing grip of fear. Their strength comes not from avoiding these moments, but from enduring them. They have learned that their feelings of inadequacy are temporary, but the act of quitting is permanent. So they allow themselves to feel weak, to feel tiré, to feel defeated, and then they get back to work anyway. Willpower is born on the days you most want to stop. Everyone doubts themselves at times. Everyone has moments when they want to quit and ask, why am I even trying? This question is the siren song of mediocrity, the tempting whisper that promises the comfort of giving up. It echoes in your mind when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels impossibly wide. You look at the effort you've invested and the meager results you have to show for it, and the logic of quitting seems undeniable. What is the point of all this sacrifice if it leads to nothing? Why endure the pain and the struggle for a dream that may never materialize? It is in this precise moment of profound doubt, when every fiber of your being is screaming for you to walk away, that you are presented with a choice. But in those exact moments, if you don't walk away, if you take just one small step forward, willpower is formed. Willpower is not a grand, heroic gesture. It is not a sudden burst of superhuman strength. It is the small, almost imperceptible decision to do one more thing. It's sending one more email, reading one more chapter, holding the plank for 10 more seconds. It's the quiet defiance in the face of your own desire to surrender. Each time you choose to act against the pull of giving up, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are strengthening a muscle that can only be trained through resistance. This is the alchemy of character, turning the lead of despair into the gold of resolve. Willpower is not loud. It grows silently each time you overcome yourself. It's a private victory that no one else sees. It's the internal battle won in the quiet moments of your day, long before any external results become visible. Every time you honor the commitment you made to yourself, especially when it's hard, you are adding another layer to your inner fortitude. This silent accumulation of small wins builds a foundation of self-trust that becomes unshakable over time. You learn that you can rely on yourself, that your word to yourself matters. And this quiet, steady growth of willpower is what will eventually carry you through the storms that would break a person who has only ever relied on fleeting motivation. No one succeeds on inspiration. They succeed by finishing. Success doesn't come from how grandly you begin, but from whether you have the patience to reach the end. The world is full of brilliant beginnings, graveyards of abandoned projects, forgotten goals, and broken New Year's resolutions litter the landscape of our lives. We love the thrill of a fresh start, the clean slate, the intoxicating potential of a new idea. We announce our plans with fanfare and dive in with a flurry of activity. But beginnings are easy. The starting line is crowded. It's the long, lonely middle stretch, the part of the journey where the novelty has worn off and the finish line is not yet in sight, that truly tests our mettle. Many people start with passion. Very few stay until the final chapter. Not because they are incapable, but because they quit right before things begin to change. The point of maximum frustration is often the tipping point for success. It's the moment just before the dam breaks, the darkest hour just before the dawn. It is precisely when things feel the most difficult, when progress seems to have stalled completely, that you are often on the verge of a breakthrough. But because the change hasn't happened yet, it's easy to believe it never will. People give up, convinced their efforts were in vain, never knowing that if they had just held on for a little while longer, they would have seen the fruits of their labor. They trade the potential for a lasting victory for the immediate relief of quitting. The ability to endure this period of stagnation, to keep pushing in the dark, is what separates those who finish from those who are forever starting over. Modern life. Docente lack, talente lacks, endurance. Today, everyone has opportunities. Everyone has tools. Everyone has access to information. We live in an age of unprecedented abundance. The knowledge of the world is at our fingertips. The tools to create, to build, to connect are more accessible and affordable than ever before. You can learn any skill, start any business, and reach a global audience from your living room. The barrier to entry has never been lower. We are swimming in a sea of potential, surrounded by brilliant, talented, and creative individuals. What's rare isn't talent, but quiet consistency. Persistent people may move slowly, but they don't move backward. And one day, they are far ahead, while others remain at the starting line, complaining that I tried to. The person who succeeds is not always the most gifted or the most intelligent. It is the person who shows up day after day and does the work. Their progress may be so gradual that it's almost invisible on a daily basis. They are not defined by giant leaps, but by a relentless series of small, steady steps. While others are chasing shortcuts, looking for the next big thing, and giving up when results aren't immediate, the persistent person just keeps going. They understand that mastery is a marathon, not a sprint. And when you look up after a year, or 5, or 10, you find that they have traveled an incredible distance, leaving the talented but inconsistent crowd far behind, still stuck in the cycle of starting, getting frustrated, and quitting. Going all the way is not stubbornness, it is maturity. Finishing what you start doesn't mean being blind. It means knowing what you're doing, why you're doing it, and refusing to quit just because difficulty appears. This is not about mindlessly plowing ahead with a failing strategy. Maturity is the wisdom to distinguish between a genuine dead end and a challenging obstacle. It involves being adaptable, learning from feedback, and adjusting your course when necessary. But it also involves having a core conviction in your ultimate destination. It's having a why that is so powerful, it can withstand the how becoming difficult. It's the understanding that any worthwhile endeavor will inevitably involve periods of struggle and doubt. The mature individual doesn't see difficulty as a sign to quit. They see it as part of the price of admission for achieving something meaningful. When you see things through to the end, you don't just create results, you create trust in yourself. And that trust is something no one can take away. Every time you finish what you started, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who keeps my promises to myself. This self-trust is the bedrock of confidence. It's an internal validation that is far more powerful than any external praise. When you know from a long history of evidence that you can count on yourself to endure hardship and complete what you set out to do, you become unstoppable. External circumstances may change. People may let you down, but the faith you have built in your own resilience will remain your constant, unshakable anchor. Finally, maybe today you're not happy. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you feel discouraged. Acknowledge these feelings. They are real, but do not grant them the power to make your decisions. Your future is not determined by how you feel in this single moment. It is determined by the actions you take despite your feelings. But if you keep going, if you complete your work, if you don't quit halfway, then you are building a future not based on luck, but on real inner strength. Every act of discipline today is an investment in the person you will be tomorrow. You are not just completing a task, you are forging your character. You are proving to yourself that your commitment is stronger than your comfort, that your purpose is more important than your mood. Emotion helps you start, character helps you stand firm. Willpower keeps you from walking away, and finishing is what ultimately decides who you become.